everyone, and welcome back to my channel. This is Glossy Philosophy. My name is Jansen Bidman, and today you are tuned in for a kind of grown-up glitter fun summer look, so stay tuned. I've already washed my face and prepped my face with skincare, so let's get started with the tutorial. Because we are going in with quite a few products, we definitely want to make sure that the skin is nice and cohesive and just looking really fresh and alive. So we are going to start with the Bobbi Brown Corrector in Bisque. I'm going to take my ring finger and just really gently tap a thin layer underneath the eye to correct any blue or purple that's going on under there. If you have darker circles that are a little bit more purple, you might want to try one of the peach ones instead of the Bisque. The Bisque is going to have pink, which will counteract blue. It does have a little bit of peach in there, but it's definitely more of a pinky toned corrector. So if you have more purple underneath your eyes, you might want to try a peach. When I was going through makeup training at Sephora, somebody put on a really orange corrector underneath my eyes, and at that time I wasn't eating as well as I am now, or as healthfully, and my under eye circles were quite purple and blue, and it just was shocking at the difference after I put on the concealer that it made. It really did knock them out quite quickly. So now we're going to go in with the NARS Tinted Smudge Proof Eyeshadow Base, and again using my middle finger just a little bit from the wand and going in from the lash line all the way up to the brow. Not putting it in my brow, just stopping right where the hair starts. Same with the lash line. I'm not actually putting this into my lashes. It's not going to do anything. I'm just putting it on the skin, again canceling out any little veins that are kind of popping out. It just happens as we age. The skin around our eyes gets a lot thinner, and you're just able to see a lot more of what's going on underneath. So a corrector is super, super important. Okay, the last thing that we are going to do to prep our makeup is going to be the Charlotte Tilbury Rock and Kohl in Bedroom Black, and just very gently lifting up that lid and doing a little tight line. And just doing little dashes. Okay, now we're ready for complexion. I am going to go in with concealer and foundation because the sparkleness that we are putting on does not really have any fallout, and I'm putting it on with my fingers, so that always helps a lot with fallout. Plus I'm using Bobbi Brown, and I feel like her shadows have like zero fallout, almost like MAC's as well. Really a lot of the Estee Lauder brands, if you didn't know, Bobbi Brown and MAC are under the parent company of Estee Lauder. I feel like a lot of those eyeshadow brands don't have that fallout. I don't know if there's just been so much research or if just because they're older, but I find some of the newer companies with their eyeshadows, there's quite a bit of fallout that happens, but with classic brands like MAC and Bobbi Brown, there is minimal to no fallout. So we're going to do our foundation really quickly. So I am just kind of dipping in with my brush on the back of my hand, which I don't normally do, but as you can tell, my skin is quite shiny this morning because I've been putting on so many oils and serums and things. Now when you do this, you definitely use up your product faster, but I wanted to get the complexion on quickly so that we could get into the eyes. So now I'm just bouncing my brush on my skin, making sure that we don't have any spots of pigment or foundation that are hanging out anywhere. So just giving it a nice blend, and then of course blending it down onto the neck a little bit. Just anything extra. I don't have anything on my brush. I'm just kind of moving the product around, bouncing it into the skin, and making everything look cohesive. Okay, we are going to call that good. And now we are going to go in with an eyebrow pencil from ANASTASIA. This is the brow definer, so it's the bigger one, and I'm just quickly going to brush through my brows. I did it, you guys. I felt like I didn't want to swap my brushes anymore, and I didn't want to really think about it. So I got Ash Brown, which is a cool brown. Has just a touch of gray in there, and I think that matches my roots really, really nicely. Because even though I'm going pretty light with my hair, when my roots come out, they are still a little bit of that ash browny brunette color. So I think this matches, and it matches my natural eyebrow hair pretty well. So I'm doing the same thing I was doing with the eyeshadow. I'm just filling in any gaps. I feel like with an eyebrow pencil, you need to be really careful because you can end up with some brows, if you know what I'm saying. So you don't want to go too over the top. All right, now we're going to get started on the eyeshadow. So as always, 201 from BK Beauty, and I am going to mix some Kid and Wedge together from MAC. These are eyeshadows. And I'm just going to start building that crease socket color just a little bit, because we are going to go in with a cream shadow and then the glitter. It's like a glitter topper, but it could definitely work all on its own. I might do another video of that because that's really fun too. Sometimes I feel like in the summer, it's just fun to experiment with different kinds of eyeshadows. It's not holiday, but it kind of is. So it's like a lighter version of maybe the holiday things that we do in 6 months. I can't believe it. Now we're going to go in with a cream shadow from Giorgio Armani. This is the Cool Copper. I think it's just a genius color. I think this would work on pretty much anybody, any skin tone, and any age, any eye color. I think it's just so good. It has that warmth, it has the cool. Whoever designed this did a brilliant job. And that's just straight from the applicator. And then I'm just gonna use my finger and just kind of blend out the edges right on the top. Okay, so I want that to sit for just a moment. So now I'm going to go in with a little bit of powder, and I'm going to just use my big guy, my blush powder in pale yellow. And we are going to try to get rid of some of this shine. I got my makeup done from a celebrity makeup artist, again during training, not because I'm that kind of person. And he said that one of the keys for doing makeup on people who are in front of the camera or just like longevity is you just soak the skin with moisture from oils and moisturizer and all the serums and things, and then you really layer on that powder, and that just creates this really beautiful long-lasting makeup. So even if you have to powder again at the end, that's totally fine because you have that initial layer already. Because you are going to be doing a couple layers of powder, I definitely recommend doing something like the pale yellow or like a translucent powder. All right, so let's finish our complexion. We're going to go in with the Lisa Eldridge highlighter, just a couple dots right along the cheekbone. And we're going to go back in with the Duo Fiber brush. So if you need longevity, then that is the way to go. It's like really sheer layers building on top of each other. And if you're getting ready for a wedding or just a day out, like a normal day out, then that's exactly what you need. Going back in with the blush powder brush into a Bobbi Brown, this is Pretty Pink blush. I felt like I was just going too browny with my blushes for spring and summer, and I wanted a pop of pink. I don't think you need a lot of blushes in your makeup wardrobe, but a nice brighter color is always wonderful. And then if you want to go back in with your foundation brush and almost turn that into a cream powder, and it just blends into the skin really nicely. Of course, because we are in June, we need some bronzer, especially if you are as fair as I am. Just wearing all of the SPF all the time, which doesn't allow me to really get a tan, which I'm totally fine with. You don't really want a real tan, but I do like a little bit of color. Just going along the perimeter, just thinking about that 3 and E along the outside of the face is the best way to go. The key is not to do too much along this jawline, otherwise you end up looking like you've got some midnight shadow or something, which you don't want. Okay, now we are ready to finish the eyes because we've given it time. So now we're going in with this Luxe eyeshadow in Moonstone. Oh, so gorgeous. Again, I'm going to go in with my ring finger, just kind of swirling it on top, and let's do this right on the ball of the eye. Holy moly, right? I know. So this is what I feel like is a slightly more glittery version of Stila's Kitten, but the Kohl Copper and the Moonstone combined just create this really beautiful three-dimensional kitten shadow, I think. Okay, now we're going to go in with our liner. We're going to finish this look off with a little bit of liquid liner from Stila. So you might be asking yourself if this looks like another eyeshadow, but a slightly more three-dimensional one. Why didn't I just start with that? Because that shadow is amazing and I highly recommend it. It's a little soft, and every time I purchase it, my kiddos drop it and it just breaks into a million pieces. So I needed to create it on my own with different products that are a little bit hardier for dropping. But Kitten eyeshadow from Stila is amazing. So just following that lower lash line, building up that triangle, and then using more of the side of the wand to do little dashes along our lash line and bringing it almost all the way in to that inner corner. Now we are going to go in with a pencil brush from MAC into an eyeshadow Brun, which is a really, really dark brown. And I'm just going to go right on top of that because it can feel a little stark, especially against this beautiful lighter eyeshadow. And I feel like just adding a little bit of Brun or dark brown, really any darker eyeshadow, just softens it a little bit for daytime. It also adds just another little layer for longevity. I find that now that I'm just wearing so much skincare, even the Stila Stay All Day can kind of go away if I'm not powdered enough. Does that make sense? So I am going to go in with the Precision powder brush with a little bit more just underneath the eyes. The nose, anywhere where those oils are still peeking through or starting to. because I am going to take some pictures after this and do another film. Because sometimes you just got to get it all done. 3D Maximizer, really plumping up those lashes. Dipping back in for the other eye, make sure that you do that, otherwise you're basically not putting anything on the other eye. All right. And then, of course, we are going in with the Smokey Eye Mascara from BOBBI Brown. Going into the roots, really coating those first, and then starting to wiggle up. And just tapping very gently on those lower lashes. Same thing on the other side. Getting into the roots first, and then pulling through, rotating my brush, and really making sure that all the lashes are coated. It just makes a huge difference if you spend a little bit more time on your lashes actually coating all of your lashes. Okay, we're going to finish this off with Pompadour from Lisa Eldridge. It is a new gloss, and it is glorious. Zhuzhing the hair, and we are done. Thank you guys so much for watching this tutorial. This has been kind of my go-to makeup this month, and even in May, if I'm honest, it's just been so fun to experiment with a little bit of a brighter glitter, but it feels like an adult glitter, not too chunky. It just adds another dimension to your eyeshadow, and it just makes everything feel a little bit more fun and festive. So thank you again for watching. I do fashion videos every Wednesday, beauty videos every Friday, and on Mondays tackling specific things to make your life a little bit easier and a little bit more glossy. So make sure you hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe, and I'll see you very soon. Bye!